Therefore it says, God opposes the proud and gives grace to the humble. James chapter 4, verse 6. Tayo po muna ay sumaglit na manalangin. Panginoon, salamat po sa pribileyo pang mga pag-aaral ng inyong salita. Patuloy mo kaming gabayan at pangunahan. Sa pangalan ng Panginoong Kristo. Amen. At Amen. Sa sobrang dami nating nalalaman mga kapatid, most of the time, tayo ay nagiging proud. At hindi na natin nakikita yung sarili natin as a person na kailangan ng pagturo or kailangang turuan. Kaya mga kapatid, in-encourage tayo ng scripture na huwag natin tingnan yung sarili natin as a person na mataas. Bagos tingnan natin yung sarili natin as mababa sa harapan ng Panginoon. A humble Christian are summarized in Paul's exhortation in Philippians chapter 2 verse 3 down to verse 4. Do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind let each of you regard one another as more important than himself. Do not merely look out for your own personal interest, but also for the interest of others. The first mark of a humble person is that he sees himself or herself or her sin or his sin as worse than the others. And Paul's example from this attitude ay yung sa Timothy chapter 1, or 1 Timothy chapter 1 verse 15. Jesus came into the world to save sinners, among whom I am foremost of all. Grabe yung language ni Apostle Paul dito sa Timothy na ito. And when it's our sin that most grieve and offend us, and are one we most want to avoid, then we demonstrate a real measure of humility. And the second mark is that a humble person is that he or she is not self-centered. Selfless people are more concerned with their lives or with the lives of others, including their enterprises, their success, failure, blessing, disappointments, prosperity, and even poverty. Their own interests, privilege, popularity, achievements, and reputations are secondary when compared to the needs of others. Of course, ang Panginoong Kristo yung best example sa tinatawag nating humility or selflessness. Philippians chapter 2 verse 5 down to verse 8. He have this attitude in yourselves, which was also in Christ Jesus, who though he existed in the form of God, did not regard equality with God a thing to be grasped, but made himself no reputation, or emptied himself, taking the form of a servant, and being made in the likeness of man, and being found in appearance of man, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death, even the death on the cross. Grabe yung example ng Panginoong Kristo. At wala na tayong magagawa, o wala na tayong mas makikita pang humble person maliban sa Kanya. So, anong kailangan natin gawin? Right in the midst of the disciples, from Matthew chapter 18, verse 1 down to verse 4. Prideful debate among themselves about who would be the greatest in the kingdom. Jesus used the little children or a little children to illustrate humility. A child is totally dependent. Dependent saan? Dependent, and that the attitude we must bring as we seek entrance into God's kingdom, we must enter with childlike faith and obedience. Gusto ng Panginoon na sumandal tayo sa Kanya at hindi magtiwala sa sarili nating kakayahan. Sapagkat kung hindi tayo katulad ng mga bata na dependent or hindi tayo dependent sa Panginoon at masyado tayong nagbo-boast, mga kapatid, may problem sa bagay na yan. And we must live every day of the Christian life with an attitude of scribe or childlike humility. As Augustus says, nothing in my hand I bring, simply to thy cross I cling. Naked, come to thee for dress. Helpless, look to thee for grace. Salamat po sa inyong pakikinig. Mga kapatid, kape po tayo.